Best neo-pop album because
Formerly known as R&B.
because what the fuck is R&B? What the fuck is cancer culture?
Let me just say it right here for the Audioface Awards, and just for posterity, we call it neopop because R&B/rhythm and blues is inherently a racial genre because
Yep.
it is pop music. It is popular. It is what is like really trending. It gets serial numbers to pop music, just like right under, especially if you're looking at like top 100 in streams, whatever. Even though we're not necessarily ranking on streams, it's like the next to bottom last thing we're ranking on. But by calling it neopop, we're acknowledging that it's popular. But I like taking it from neo soul, which takes in blues, R&B, funk, all these other things, which have not only been dominated by, African American cultures, but have also been taken on to new heights by Latin artists, Asian artists,
yeah.
like all around the world. People have done a really good job with this, and so we really want to branch it out, de-racialize it, destigmatize that, and then we're kind of new by using this term. Where hopefully it'll get further out there, but with a extremely diverse list of artists here, both in talents, genres they pull from inspirationally, and where they come from around the world. I love this list, and this is definitely. I think this is the hardest one this year.
The hardest one for me too. So nominees for best neo pop album are "Smithereens" by Joji, "Gemini Rights" by Steve Lacy, "You Can't Kill Me" by 070 Shake, "Wasteland" by Brent Faiyaz. God damn. "Caprisongs" by FKA Twigs.
Hey, whoa!
"Serpentina" by Banks. And Dawn FM
by Jim Carrey.
By The Weeknd, featuring Jim Carrey.
Featuring the sultry voice of Jim Carrey.
All right. You have called 1-800 Dawn FM. God damn it. This is one of those where I told you earlier when I got here, I'm going to like literally think of it on the spot because this is an impossible list. There's just unbelievably good works by the Smithereens by Joji. It's just one of those short records that it's just in that 30-minute span. I don't even think it is 30 minutes, maybe like 27 minutes that it is.
Yeah.
Everything there is just beautiful. It's such a good record to hear from him. And, it's that Asian influence that you're getting a lot of neopop now that we're really hearing, and it's just that bridge between funk and experimental electronic music, and you get this just beautiful record that I love a lot. Gemini Rights by Steve Lacy. God damn, it's just one of my favorite records. One of my favorite records this year.
Yeah,
amazing.
Powerful intro, just really consistent. I think pulling a lot from indie, but also Steve Lacy was one of the pioneers of My Funk Is Back take.
Yeah,
that, I am right about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he really kills it here, but also does it in a way that is not feeling old. It feels new. It feels fresh. It's pulling from the best elements of all of that, and keep loving it. 070 Shake, really loved by audio engineer and producer Peter of the podcast, and a really solid album as well. I was playing this a lot throughout, coming back to a lot of songs on here. 070 Shake, she is really at her like best in this, and she's been doing nothing but up. I've called her the female Weeknd, and sorry to skip around here, but since I mentioned him, Dawn FM by The Weeknd. Mans is in his element. You are in rare form, Abel. Like, it's like
he made a beautiful concept record a couple years ago.
Series of concept records.
And now this one's it's even better.
As far as we can tell, Dawn FM is one of at least 3, like in a series of like a trilogy of albums. So you have After Hours, Dawn FM, and then something else that should be coming afterwards. Love to see it.
I want more. Do it.
Keep going. If only The Weeknd spoke a little more Spanish, which, by the way, let's give The Weeknd his credit on that Rosalia record because he kind of killed it on that. He hashtag did that. He ate all plate. But like, ultimately, if only he spoke more Spanish, he would be like the top arena selling pop artist in the world. Sadly, Rosalia and Bad Bunny exist.
Yep.
So thanks for playing, buddy. But no, that being said, like, still amazing record. Back to the other list rest of the other ones. We have 3 more to talk about before we start to narrow down. This is hard. Wasteland by Brent Faiyaz, America's Finest Fuckboy. Literally fighting for future on this one. But as far as fuckboy goes. But neopop, they're not comparable. But
amazing record, nonetheless.
Great stuff. I would say, not that this should necessarily be indicative of my pick, but I think that Brent Faiyaz shine. Like, the rest of the album is good, but the shining were all the features.
Yes.
Whether you had Alicia Keys pulling a little bit of rap in there in that like dark pop record, or that Neptune's track where you had really good Pharrell record. Like it's just like give it to Pharrell in this production.
Exactly, and it's like the thing I love about it as a record is just you got all these people together in the features, and all the features line up together, and it makes the record better, and it makes it more cohesive, which is very difficult to do in this day and age, especially. You have Caprisongs by FKA Twigs. Twigs is really on her own now, where she's just producing amazing records, amazing things, and very experimental out there. But with Caprisongs, to me, it's her most cohesive and just beautiful project.
I like FKA Twigs is on her like Bjorkshire right now. Like it is like it's a little bit understated, especially as a neo-pop record this year. It came out earlier in this year, which definitely like didn't help it that much, but I think still makes it like it's a good album nonetheless. Like we definitely don't rank on release dates here, but like facts is facts. I think it got buried in a really like tough year for this genre, but it was very experimental. It was very fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yep.
And then Serpentina by Banks. This was a pick that a lot of Audioface fans really enjoyed. And I found this to be, you know, very eclectic. This is like the best stuff of being, this would stand as a pop record. Like I would put this alongside like Ariana Grande. I would put this alongside like those like standard pop artists, but so much more flair, so much more character, so much more like production intelligence that, yeah, especially at times when I'm like, a little bit eye-rolly at some of those extremely pop artists. I would say, hey, if you like this, and I still want to maintain a friendship with you, let's also try Banks a little bit, and like also throw in here. And like, not only to say this, like, absolutely stands on her own, really great artist. I'd recommend all of these, and now we get to Audioface debates.
I think I know who I think I know who I gave it to.
Please.
Gemini Rights by Steve Lacy. I think it's such it's one of my favorite records this year.
Yeah.
Not just neo-pop, and one of my favorites I've listened to ever in the history of Audioface. It's just such a beautiful record that it gives me hope sometimes, you know. We need it. It's good. It's so good. And everybody who I've talked to about that record, they all share the same ideas too. They're like, dude, it's amazing.
I have music fans who like people who are both like really big. I have music fans, both people who are like really big in the music industry who really like, you know, by big in the music industry, I mean very involved, right? Who really respect Steve Lacy. And I have people who just like aren't really like into music, but it's like passively like listening to it, and they really appreciate all that Steve Lacy put into it. I mean, he is one of, like a Toro y Moi, he is leading his genre. He is leading his generation.
Absolutely.
And again, salutes to the king. Great person. Everyone on here, extremely well deserved on this. Let's say it on here. The one I was surprised, and also I'll say one last thing. With Steve Lacy's Gemini Rights, what really made it stand out to me is that as an album cohesively, it's the most no skips of everything on here. Everything else on here, I give a couple of things. Exactly. I agree with that.
So a couple things here there. This is just play through it, don't touch it.
Yeah. I'd say my close second, which I was not expecting, is not 070 Shake. It's not Joji. It's not The Weeknd. It's Banks.
Banks, yeah. Banks. I can get on board with that.
Absolutely.
I can get on board with that.
I'll allow it. Fuck it! We'll do it live. I'm giving it a runner-up.
My podcast.
I'm giving it a runner-up. I'm giving her a runner-up, absolutely, because I was absolutely impressed by that.
Absolutely.
Really